This is one of the better environments in the country, and this one is underway. Only regular season meeting between these two. Billy Richmond III, who has been on an absolute tear lately, puts the Hogs on the board.
Last 4 games, he's averaging 22 points a game with 4 straight 20-point games for Billy Richmond. He hadn't scored 20 in his first 60 games as a Razorback, and he's so quick with those drives.
And as dangerous as Acuff is, and he is, Richmond has been their leading scorer in each of their last 2 games, as Trevin Brazil just picked up an early foul. And keep an eye on fouls for Arkansas, especially in the front court. John Calipari only has 7 players in his rotation. Carter Knox, knee surgery, has not played in a couple of weeks as Xavier Lee's floater won't go down. So it is ultra important for the Hogs to stay out of foul trouble, and what a good start for them is Malik Thomas, who gets overlooked, Jay, sometimes a little bit because of the huge numbers that Acuff puts up, but he's a player too.
Well, Thomas and Acuff are the highest scoring duo in the SEC.
A block at the rim on Houck. Chinyelu gets it back. Shot clock did not reset. Chinyelu backing down, spinning and laying it in.
Chinyelu is just so strong, and everything he does is with 2 hands. Averages 12 rebounds a game, over 4 of those on the offensive end.
Good job by Flan to make sure they can't get it to Acuff. Now it's Richmond driving again, and the lefty lays it in again.
Just so quick with that crossover to get to his left hand, and most players, they catch and go. Billy Richmond goes and then catches those stampede drives.
Arkansas's won 5 out of 6. The only loss, a double overtime loss to Alabama, as Thomas Houck is on the board with a 3.
Well, Houck is the leading scorer for this Florida team, just under 17 a game. He only shoots 34% from 3, but he can really stretch the floor. And if he uses a shot fake, then he's going to drive off that opportunity.
The Gators even hotter than the Razorbacks. They've won 8 in a row and 13 out of 14. Pringle the spin, but he can't finish. Here is Xavier Lee, the transfer from Princeton, shooting the ball better of late.
What a pass.
Good cut, good pass, the extra pass, but Chinyelu can't finish it. Still Florida ball. Todd Golden, the head coach of the team that won the national championship a season ago, and we had them a couple of times early. Remember, they almost beat Duke. They almost beat UConn. They were close with Arizona, and he kept telling us, Jay, quote, "We're close. It took a while for roles to be defined, shooting to improve, turnovers to be reduced, but they're about as dangerous as any team in the country right now." And that guy is a big reason why.
He just bowled over Nick Pringle, wedged him right out of position to get that offensive rebound. Another 2-handed rebound. That Ruben Chinyelu is like trying to block out a school bus.
He is second in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. Pringle back to Acuff. Acuff scoops it up soft, but it won't go. Got it back and hits.
So dynamic. I mean, Florida's giving a lot of attention trying to get it out of the hands of Acuff.
The freshman from Detroit leading the SEC in scoring and assists. Houck in transition at the other end.
The quicker Florida gets it up the court for a quick attack in the first 15 seconds of the shot clock, the more efficient the Gators are.
Thomas trying to drive Lee. Tough shot. And it's Condon down with a rebound for the Gators.
Boy, their board coverage, Florida, is so good with those 3 outstanding rebounders on the front line.
They lead the nation in rebound margin, 14.5 more than their opponents per game.
Remember, Condon's an excellent passer.
Left hand, and it goes.
Boy, single coverage in the post. Turns away from Trevin Brazil, trying to take away middle.
Acuff the drive and draws a foul.
Acuff just stays so low and compact on those drives with quickness and strength. When his shoulders are lower, he's going to win the battle every time.
John Calipari, his second year in Fayetteville. They made it to the Sweet 16 last year, and they're good. They're 21-7 on the season. They are ranked 20th. They've been ranked every single week this year, somewhere between 14 and 25. And when you've got a guy like Acuff, and when you've got Richmond, who has taken his game, Jay, to another level, you're dangerous.
And I think Calipari really likes this team. You know, most coaches, they'll say at this time of the year they like some things, don't like others. But I think he likes the vibe on this Razorback team. And his guards, even though they're freshmen, they're ultra confident.
In and out for Acuff, out of bounds, Arkansas ball. 4 minutes in, 20 on the shot clock as Acuff inbounds. He wants to drive Condon. The pull-up over the big man won't go. And Urban Klavjar down with a rebound. Look ahead to Condon.
Boy, pretty impressive that Condon could guard Acuff out there and really pressure that shot.
Boogie Fland, the scoop, and draws a foul, and will be at the free throw line when we come back. Not surprisingly, it's energetic, and both teams are getting up and down the court here in the early.
Rebounding leads the conference in that with an 18% offensive rebound rate. He's second in the nation in rebounding and fifth in offensive rebounding. He is just a beast down low.
Boogie Fland at the line for 2 for Florida. Let's go to Chris.
Ruben Chinyelu also does a lot of charitable work for his home back in Nigeria, sending shoes. He gathers them from all of his former teammates. Even if you've worn them one time, I want to give them back to kids back in Nigeria, because he said, I wear a size 15, and when I was growing up there, he couldn't find shoes at all, so it was something easy for me to do, just to be able to ask teammates. Says he's given over 100 of them back home.
A wonderful gesture, and we've been around this Florida team a fair bit this year, and Jay, and I'm sure you would agree with me, so many of the players on this team, not to mention the coaching staff as well, as that's going to count for you. And there are just so many engaging personalities and such a tremendous culture, it feels, in this Florida program.
Yeah, they all get along, which is not necessary, but it's certainly a nice thing. And they've stuck with each other as they've developed as a team. I think you mentioned some of the early losses that they suffered, but they were all the top 5 teams, and they were in the game every time. You know, Florida is a contender. This team is on the rise.
Malik Ewan completes the three-point play. He has been putting up big numbers at the 5 spot for the Razorbacks the last couple of games.
Little horn set into some flex action.
Klavjar, who can really shoot it, gets into the paint. It won't go. And Ewan has the rebound for the Hogs.
Boy, Malik Ewan, number 12 for Arkansas, can really rebound the ball, especially on the offensive end. Half his rebounds are offensive.
Richmond backs it out against Hanlockton. Now Thomas. Richmond for 3. What a rebound by Brazil. And he draws the foul. You talk about elevation.
Well, nobody blocked him out, so Trevin Brazil got a run-up with this shot. He was setting a screen. Condon turned to go get the ball. Nobody put a body on him. And Trevin Brazil tore his ACL a couple years ago. That set him back pretty good, but he looks 100% healthy now.
Boy, that's too easy on the inbounds. Acuff finds Richmond, and Arkansas extends the lead.
Richmond just set a screen on Boogie Fland and had the inside position on him, just rolled to the basket. And you're right, that is too easy to give up that kind of shot.
So Richmond off to a hot start.
He is the best cutter on this Arkansas team and one of the best cutters in the Southeastern Conference. And look what he's done over the last 4 games. And this is
Florida ball, and now it's been overturned to go to Arkansas, so the Razorbacks will retain their challenge.
Those are the ones that are really confounding. When you know that Arkansas knocked it, that was what caused it to go out of bounds,
right.
But it just rolls off the index finger of a player. That's really an odd situation for the referees to have to deal with.
Very early challenge. Usually you see coaches wanting to hold on to it till later, but obviously the Arkansas bench felt good about it, and it's paid off for them. They get the ball back, and Acuff hits.
And that was well defended by Urban Klobjar. Kept his chest in front of him, but Darius Acuff Jr. is just a shot maker.
Xavier Lee to a cutting Alex Condon.
That was an open side pick and roll. Micah Hand-Lockton left the low box to go to the other side. There was nobody there to stop that roll by Alex Condon.
Xavier Lee's assist numbers have skyrocketed in recent games. Todd Golden feels he's playing more freely, looking more like the player he was at Princeton. And boy, he's got a lot of guys to pass to on this team. The three a little bit short. He dives for the loose ball and will call a timeout. Great hustle.
What incredible hustle. Talk about first to the floor, diving head first for that ball. What a big time play by Xavier Lee.
So they'll use an early timeout but retain possession. There's the hustle by Xavier Lee. We're back in 30. Coming up next here on ESPN, it's going to be the last time that St. Mary's and Gonzaga meet as conference rivals. Gonzaga moving out of the West Coast Conference into the reconfigured Pac-12 next year. As you well know, Jay, this has been one of the great rivalries in college basketball for a couple of decades now. And that'll be the last time for the Gales and the Zags, both in the same conference.
Oh, it's the Duke Carolina or the Ohio State Michigan of the West Coast Conference. And any time that St. Mary's and Gonzaga play, it's going to be physical. It's going to be close. There's two great programs and two iconic coaches with Randy Bennett and Mark Few.
Arkansas leading Florida by 3 early in this one. A win tonight for the Gators. They clinch at least a share of the regular season championship of the SEC. Isaiah Brown follows it up and finishes, and he's been a big story for Florida lately. Todd Golden had been playing 7 for most of the season, but Brown has really inserted himself into that rotation as the 8th man.
Well, Brown is an SEC athlete. He had a great shot fake and drive, missed the initial shot, but that second jump was awfully impressive for the stickback. Terrific pass by Lee, cross court, the shot fake. He wasn't able to get that to go, but that second jump awfully quick and then strong on his second chance opportunity.
The sophomore from Orlando had a very good game in Whittier, Texas on Wednesday. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists in 21 minutes off the bench.
Now Chinyelu switched off on Acuff.
Acuff drives him, lobs it, but boy, there are a lot of bodies there, and it doesn't work out for the Hogs.
Well, Alex Condon was right there. He wasn't able to get a body on Ewan, but he was there, made it much more difficult protecting the rim.
First turnover of the game for either team comes 7 minutes in. Malik Thomas is going to sit for Arkansas. DJ Wagner checks in. For most of the season, Wagner had been starting. John Calipari flipped him and Thomas. Thomas now starting. Wagner coming off the bench. And we get a foul underneath. I believe it's Nick Pringle, and it is. Number 2 on Pringle. And again, remember, John Calipari's only got 7 in the rotation.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Pringle. That didn't look like much. It looked like he was just trying to swim around Chinyelu, so he wasn't caught on the high side.
Pringle pleading his case with Chuck Jones, who let him talk for a while and then kind of pointed to the bench and said, "You got to sit down now." Klobjar got it.
Urban Klobjar can really shoot it. That's his 62nd three. Shoots 40% from three-point range.
And 50% in his last 8 games. Ewan working hard underneath, but we've got a held ball, and the possession arrow gives it to the Gators.
Take a look at Urban Klobuchar here on out of bounds underneath. He's the second cutter off Thomas Houck, comes off ready to shoot, and he can really drill it. He was the 5th guard last year for this Florida team, but man, has he improved.
Thomas Houck was the 6th man a year ago. Now playing some small forward, starting there, slides to the 4 at times. But as big of a jump as he took last year, he's taken even more of a jump perhaps this season.
Yeah, he went from 6th man to 1st man.
Yep. And possible lottery pick in the NBA draft.
Oh, he'll be a lottery pick whenever he decides to come out. And Houck, you know, he's an excellent right-hand driver, and Todd Golden runs a lot of things to get him to that right hand.
Klobuchar snaking his way in, finds Brown. Lead can't get by Richmond. Houck. Too strong on the 3. Here's Acuff. Wagner driving, takes a bump, and the rebound to Chinyelu.
Boy, that was a good job defensively by Brown to angle him out so he couldn't turn the corner. He was headed more toward the short corner for that tough 2.
Acuff, 5 points so far, 2 of 7, and that's a travel. As Klobuchar left the court, came back down, and it'll be a timeout on the floor. Florida leading by 4, and Thomas Houck, Mr. Billis, is off to a good start in this one for the Gators.
Well, Thomas Houck is just relentless. Talk about
out of the game, but he's off to a good start in this outstanding front court. Houck, Condon, Chinyelu, 15 of the 20 points for Florida, and obviously those guys, along with Micah Handel-Ogden, the biggest reason why Florida might be the best rebounding team in the country. Chinyelu, another one.
Boy, Florida just dominates the glass.
Klobuchar, his 2nd 3 of the game.
Arkansas was in scramble trying to get back, and Klobuchar just ran to that 3-point line. He was wide open. Malik Thomas was just late getting back after he hit the deck on that shot.
It's a 12-0 run for the Gators, but Billy Richmond III, boy, is he tough to keep out of the paint. He's heading to the line.
Yeah, that's one thing where Isaiah Brown was trying to put pressure on that shot. But just make it a tough one, because Ruben Chinyelu was right behind him to try to block that shot. Just make him take that tough 2 without fouling.
Foul on Isaiah Brown, his 2nd. No sign from Todd Golden yet that he's going to take him out. Richmond to the free throw line for a couple. Let's go to Chris.
John Calipari in that last huddle focused mainly on the offensive end, reminding his guys that this is a game that we're just going to have to play through contact. I like the drive to the basket, but I want to see a little bit more ball movement earlier in the possession and better commitment on the offensive boards.
Chris, thank you. And Coach Cal just went smaller. Trevin Brazil out, Acuff back in. So that, in effect, Jay, makes Billy Richmond III the 4-man right now. He's got to deal with the size of Houck. But then again, they were both covering each other as the small forward a little bit earlier in this game.
Well, I think Cal is thinking, hey, we're going to have a hard time guarding them, but they're going to have a hard time guarding us, too.
Ewan can't guard Chinyelu, who lays it in with the left.
Once you get posted that deep, forget it.
Richmond driving into traffic. Ewan the follow. Chinyelu the rebound.
Well, he just ran into a brick wall with Chinyelu in there.
Chinyelu just might be the National Defensive Player of the Year this season. Lee the drive and finish, and the lead is up to 9.
And Thomas Houck was able to seal off the help. Florida does an amazing job. It looks like a duck in, but really what they're trying to do is seal off a lane for a driver to get to the rim.
Thomas with a corner 3 that won't go. The Hogs have missed their last 10 from the floor. Klobuchar the step back. And a rebound for Ewan. Whoa, and Thomas got that ball on the deck just in time, and the acrobatic finish to boot.
Boy, Malik Thomas has got a lot of game.
Averaging better than 15 a game. Freshman from Pittsburgh. Houck lays it in.
Well, Billy Richmond, I know he's working his tail off, but you just can't let a guy get positioned like that and get stuck behind. You got to break contact and at least get a three-quarter front to keep that ball from coming in there.
Out now 4 for 6, 9 points already. Acuff, no.
A lot of quick shots for Arkansas.
And now Lee gets to the rim again, this time with the left. And John Calipari needs a timeout. Todd Golden's fired up. The Rowdy Reptiles are fired up. And Florida looking to clinch at least. Golden told us yesterday at the beginning of the year his team was struggling a little bit for its identity. Lost all those great guards from the national championship team. What were they this year? And he thought maybe they were trying to be a little too fancy, a little too pretty in the early going. But Jay, they've embraced what they are now. A big, strong, physical team that tries to dominate in the paint and around the rim.
I think early in the season, especially their guards, they were missing perimeter shots and they were turning the ball over. And when you rebound like this team, when you turn the ball over, you don't get a shot, you don't get a chance to offensive rebound, you don't get a chance to get fouled. Those are 3 really good things.
Meanwhile, Richmond already into double figures now for Arkansas with 10. Condon trying to back down to Brazil. Got a good look. Got it back and hits this one.
Boy, Micah hand-locked and kept that ball alive. Those big bodies wedging you underneath. And right now, Florida playing volleyball on the glass.
Hand-locked in, the 7'1" senior from Lake Norman, North Carolina, will spell one of the big guys in the front court, and he's just in there to get some rebounds, keep it alive for the fellas. And the fellas are converting right now. They're shooting 58% from the floor so far. Florida's got a double-digit lead on Arkansas.
To the lane, and then they'll just screen off their defender, and that opens up the lane, takes a shot blocker away. And this happens time after time for Florida. I thought Ruben Chinyelu was the best in the country at it last year. And Florida, there are a lot of teams that are doing this now, but Florida's the best at it. They just open up a complete driving lane by screening off help, and then you take a shot blocker away.
And they've already got 22 points in the paint. They average 43 per game. Acuff just 2 for 8 in the early going for Arkansas. Floater by Thomas, in and out.
Boy, the difficulty of shots in the lane for Arkansas right now is amazing.
What a pass. And the big guy, Condon, running the floor for the dunk.
The big Aussie sprinting down the court like he's a 3-man. The mobility of these Florida bigs is really impressive.
3rd assist of the night for Xavier Lee. You and no.
I think Hand-Lockton got a piece of that.
Flam staying in the game after picking up his 2nd. Hauk, air ball on the corner 3. Acuff running the floor. Lob, and Richmond with a finish.
Boy, he timed that out beautifully.
But Florida getting up and down the court as well. Fland with a pretty feed to Hand-Lockton.
Boy, Malik Thomas took a chance to try to get a steal, and that just opened up a layup in transition. You cannot gamble. You have to protect the rim against this team.
Arkansas is a great transition team, but Florida seems happy to go up and down with them so far tonight. A lot of contact. Thomas cradled it, couldn't finish it. Here come the Gators. The double on Condon. Now Lee resets, still lots of time. Lee for 3. Back of the iron, and the rebound down to Richmond. Look at him pushing. He's got 1 speed, and it's full speed.
And he caught that ball on the run as well. Talk about stopping the ball. Who's going to get in the way of that? That's big-time speed by Billy Richmond III.
Jay, he's got more points than the rest of his teammates combined. He continues to tear it up for the Hogs.
Well, I would keep going to him then.
And a foul away from the ball. Let's go back to that up and down transition stage where Lee, a beautiful feed, and how about Condon running the floor?
Well, Alex Condon is mobile and he's tough. And Billy Richmond running the left side of the floor. And Acuff is such a good passer, leading the Southeastern Conference in scoring and assists.
Lee, little English off the window, and the lead is 13.
Boy, so worried about getting back to Chinyelu to take away any lob. Ewan just got caught in the middle, and Lee took advantage of it.
Lee looks like a different player than we saw him at times earlier in the season.
More comfortable, making much better decisions.
Both he and his coach agreed his confidence is in a really good place right now. Brazil, no, he can shoot the 3 ball. Condon looking to swing it to somebody. Hauk. Klavjar. Hauk off the glass, no, and it's down to Hauk again. Klavjar gets inside and draws a foul.
Boy, just the attack by Florida after the offensive rebound. If they don't have an immediate stick back, Florida will look to kick it back out, maybe for an open 3, but in this case, shot fake and a drive to put even more pressure on the rim and more pressure on the Arkansas defense. You help up, it could have been dropped off to Condon. Instead, Klavjar gets fouled.
The second on Trevin Brazil. Keep an eye on that. Again, John Calipari, very limited options, only 7 in his rotation. 90% free throw shooter, Klavjar. Tomorrow morning on ESPN, the Women's College Game Day crew will be at TCU at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to get you set for a big day of college basketball, including 3 rivalry matchups. Duke and Carolina at noon Eastern, Vandy in Tennessee after that, and the triple header wraps up with Baylor and TCU. Klavjar has stepped into a much larger role this year and is really like a starter. They have 6 guys averaging in double figures, including Klavjar.
Well, last year, Todd Golden was talking about Klavjar can really shoot it. He's a good handler and passer as well, and he's proven that this year.
Acuff turns it over. Klavjar ahead to Lee. And a goaltending call on Richmond.
Boy, great job by Xavier Lee to get that ball off the backboard as quickly as possible. Beautiful pass ahead by Klavjar. Lee knew that Richmond was behind him, but all you have to do is get it off the backboard. If it's touched, it's a bucket.
This is a Florida team that was not at its best early in the season, and in spite of that, almost won at Duke, almost beat UConn. They are playing much better right now, and they have won 13 of their last 14 games and appear to be about as dangerous as anybody in the country.
Well, last year, Florida was a backcourt-driven team with really great contributions from the front court. This year, this is a front-court-driven team with really good contributions from the backcourt. And the backcourt's really picked up its game over the last 10 or so.
Wagner, the kick out. Richmond has it blocked by Condon.
Boy, Condon, his ability to guard on the perimeter and inside. And he runs the floor and picks up a foul on Arkansas just by getting positioned down low, and they got to drive him off that position.
Isaiah Sealy called for the foul as John Calipari has gone to an 8th man because of some foul trouble here in the first half. Sealy has averaged about 8 minutes per game in 13 appearances. He'll come out, Pringle will come out, and Ewan and Brazil back in.
It is just so difficult to guard these Florida big bodies.
A turnover. Here comes Acuff. Lob. And Brazil fouled at the rim. A timeout on the floor, and the Gators are clicking offensively right now, Jay. They've extended the lead to 17.
Well, Xavier Lee was keyed him up, but that has not been the case over the last 10 games or so. His comfort level has grown. He's making great decisions, and teams aren't speeding him up. He's playing at his pace now.
The Toronto native, 2-time All-Ivy at Princeton, and Todd Golden on game day today talked about his defense. He made the point of saying every single member of their starting five is a plus defender, and that even when Lee was struggling offensively, he was still contributing defensively.
Well, last year at Princeton, he was only one of 2 players in Division I to average over 15 points, over 5 rebounds, and over 5 assists per game. This is a really important last 4 minutes of the first half for Arkansas. They've got to get some stops and cut into this lead. And on the other hand, Florida can put this thing out of reach if they put their foot on the gas this last 4 minutes.
Darius Acuff Jr., who averages 22, just 5 in the first half. He only had 5 in the first half Wednesday against A&M, and then scored 17 points in the last 9 minutes of the game as they won it. Isaiah Brown with a corner 3. The ball is moving, and the Gators are getting good looks.
Just beautiful getting it into Condon, then that split action, and he finds Brown on the opposite end of the court. Those ball reversals are really difficult for Arkansas to guard.
Now Brown end to end. And the rout is on here in Gainesville.
Take a look at Isaiah Brown right here. He's going to get the ball inside to Condon and cut through in split action, and he will wind up on the opposite corner. Condon finds him. He knocks down the 3. And then in transition, he looks off the defense and then takes the middle route. Talk about an SEC athlete. That's what Todd Golden's been talking about. The lefty, Isaiah Brown from Orlando, Florida. He had 9 points and 8 rebounds to go with 2 assists against Texas, and he has come out strong in this game off the bench to give this Florida team some added punch.
And again, all season long, Todd Golden had 7, kept looking for an 8th, tried different guys, gave this guy a few minutes, that guy a few minutes, but it is Brown who has stepped up and grabbed that role. And boy, does it feel like the Florida rotation is in a great place right now.
And Florida's been showing a lot of bodies to Darius Acuff Jr. They want the ball out of his hands. Make somebody else make a play, not him.
Todd Golden used the phrase make him uncomfortable a couple of times in practice yesterday. Richmond off the side of the backboard.
Boy, who's getting that ball away from Chinyelu when he gets those vice grips on it? Got to switch. Now switch back.
Lee to Brown. And now back to Lee to set it up with 15 on the shot clock.
Little horn set up top.
The swing back to Condon. Brown's feeling it. Brown's heading it.
Boy, you go under on that. He's just pulling the trigger. It's beautifully done by Florida, and they have been putting their foot on the gas this last segment.
Does Arkansas have any kind of an answer at the offensive end? Wagner, no. Tip, no. And basket interference, the call on the Razorbacks.
Now take a look at Florida operating this horn set. That's 2 on the elbows, 2 in the corner. Little handoff. Arkansas goes under. Don't really give any pressure to Brown, and Brown takes advantage of the opportunity. What can Brown do for you? A lot.
A 24-point game. Condon to the left. Can't get it to go. And Brazil's got it for Arkansas. Count the basket. The Florida players don't think so. They want to have a look at this.
You know what? It doesn't matter. Like, whether it's goaltending or not, I think Todd Golden's happy that Chinyelu showed him he was there. Like, make him think about it.
And he is going to challenge it. And that is a crowd pleaser here in Gainesville.
I think it was coming down to get to the backboard, but you think back to the 1982 title game between Georgetown and North Carolina, where Patrick Ewing was goaltending every shot. Just let them know you're there. People don't like to get their shot blocked.
Golden thought about it, looked up at the scoreboard here, saw a replay there, and then made that universal signal that he wants a challenge, and the crowd erupted.
These are kind of tough to overturn, I think. Just the view that we had, my guess is, and it's a guess, that they're going to uphold this call.
Chinyelu averages about 1 block per game. And again, without question, in the running for National Defensive Player of the Year. It's not so much the big sexy stats, though. It's just staying in front of his man, switching on to guards, doing so many things that help his team win.
That angle looks like it's in Florida's favor on this. But it's just so easy to say not enough, not clear and convincing evidence, video evidence to be able to overturn it. But you're right, Dan. Like, I think Ruben Chinyelu makes a great case for National Defensive Player of the Year. I wouldn't call him just a rim protector where he's blocking 3 shots a game or something like that. There are other guys that are better at that than he is, certainly by the numbers. But man, he is a lane protector, and he's there.
1:41 to go in the half as they continue to look. Coming up on the Jeep halftime report, it has been quite a day in college basketball, including Alabama with a big comeback to beat Tennessee. Darren Peterson certainly had his moments, but Arizona beat the Jayhawks by 23. Reese, J. Will, and Coach getting ready to tell you all about it at halftime.
Do we need to start a GoFundMe page for J. Will to get a tie? Like, Reese Davis must be appalled.
They call Ruben Chinyelu the Secretary of Defense here in Gainesville. Let's see what the ruling on this is. Here's
After
Joe
review,
Lindsay.
this is successful coach's challenge by Florida. Due to the fact that there was no team control when the whistle was blown, we will go to the alternating possession arrow, which favors Arkansas. Arkansas will have the ball with 1:42 on the clock and 23 on the shot clock.
So
Thank you.
the challenge is successful, not goaltending. It's a clean block for Chinyelu, and then because nobody had control of the ball, they settled that by going to the possession arrow. It's Arkansas ball, but still a good challenge and a very popular decision here in Gainesville.
Well, all they really get is the arrow, but what they also get is Ruben Chinyelu feels really supported by his coaching staff.
What a season he is having. 16 double-doubles already. Wagner, it will go, and a much-needed bucket. It had been a 14-1 run for Florida, and that is also Arkansas's first made 3 of the game.
I think John Calipari keeps looking up saying, is that clock working? We need halftime.
51-30. Klavjar knocked away by Wagner. And then Richmond tried to hit Wagner, but it bounced it behind him, and it's back to the Gators.
Boy, Wagner did a great job in defensive help to knock that ball away from Klavjar.
How about the balance on this Florida team tonight? Brown's got 10, Hauck's got 9, Condon, Klavjar, and Lee all have 8.
Florida's got a unit that everybody thinks about doing their job. It's a total we first mentality. I think you brought this up already, Dan, about how well this team, like they're a bunch of really interesting personalities.
Yeah.
Man, they get along really well.
Tremendously well. And that extends into the coaching staff as well. Knocked away. Here comes Acuff, shielding off Condon and lays it in.
Boy, Acuff, he's got guts, man. He went right into the body of Condon and took him right under the basket so he couldn't block that shot. That's a big-time play.
He's not having a great night so far, but you could call him one of the best freshmen in the nation, one of the best point guards in the nation, one of the best players in the nation. You'd be right on all 3 fronts. Chinyelu doubled. Didn't know it. Knocked away. And a foul.
Boy, Malik Thomas did a nice job of coming over from the weak side stealthily on the baseline. Chinyelu didn't see him because he was looking middle. to see where a double might come from. Knocks the ball away, but then I don't know, it didn't look like much there for a foul.
Second on Thomas, 7th team foul, 1-1 for Chinyelu. Florida has not won the SEC regular season championship since 2014. It is on their minds. It is on the mind of their coach. He has talked about it. They actually backed off on that conversation middle of the season when they suffered a defeat to Auburn, felt they were getting a little bit ahead of themselves. But, Jay, they don't feel they're getting ahead of themselves anymore. They win tonight, they clinch at least a share.
Well, their aspirations, they want to win the SEC title and the tournament title, which were won last year, but they're thinking national title as well.
8 cup to Brazil for the slam. And Lee will walk it up. Shot clock turned off. Lee's got 8 points, 4 assists here in the first half. The three. Around and out. Wagner's got it. Can Thomas get the shot off? He did, but he left it short. And Florida dominates the back half of the first half to lead by 19. They have put 53 points on the board here in the first half against Arkansas, a team that came in here on a hot streak. Chris Budden has Todd Golden.
Todd, you guys shooting around 60%. What have you appreciated about the offensive effort so far?
I think we're playing really well together. I think we're doing a good job playing out of our ball screen, setting those side ball screens low so our big guys can roll, get catches close to the rim. They're putting it in well. And X has done a great job driving those duck-ins as well. Irby's making shots. We're playing with a lot of freedom offensively right now.
You said one of the goals was to make Darius Acuff uncomfortable. How have you done that so far?
He's 3 for 12. I think we're putting a lot of pressure on him. Our guys have done a good job keeping their bodies in front, running them off the three-point line, which is a big key. And our bigs have done a great job on the back line of the defense to make it hard for them to finish at the rim.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
They continue to look like one of the best teams in the country. Chris, thank you. And part of that missing layups due to the size and rim protection of the Gators, right?
Yes, and I think the defense for Florida caused Arkansas to take some really tough angles and tough twos. Now, it's not that they didn't have shots that they could have made, but they've all been difficult opportunities around a big defense that challenges you at the rim.
Arkansas is 4th in the nation in offensive efficiency per KenPom. Florida 4th in the nation in defensive efficiency, and you can tell from the score who's winning that battle so far. Boogie Flan slithers his way in and draws a foul. And it looks like it's Nick Pringle.
He just went right into the body of Pringle, and Pringle wasn't really straight on. He looked like he went straight up, but Fland was just seeking out his body to draw contact.
The third on Pringle. And Boogie Fland, who sat for a little bit in the first half because he played or picked up a couple of fouls. He's at the line for 2. Here is our ABC NBA Sunday Showcase doubleheader. It'll be San Antonio 43-16. Got to watch Wemby every time he plays. They'll take on the Knicks. That one should be great. And how about the rivalry the Timberwolves and the Nuggets have had recently? They've met in the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq. But it all started at 12:30 Eastern.
Well, Wemby's an alien. But I'll tell you what, San Antonio's got a freak on their team, too. It's Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle has been fabulous all season long.
Richmond in traffic, and Arkansas turns it over.
Boy, you drive and you're driving into big bodies. Condon, Chinyelu, Hauk. And this Arkansas team is a low turnover team. They only turn it over 8.9 times a game, but that's not been the case in this one.
They are one of the best offensive teams in the nation, but the Gators have held them in check. Fland for 3. And Boogie Fland, who had a 10-game shooting slump when he went 2 for 26 from three-point range. Since then, he is now 6 for his last 10. Floater by Thomas, no. Chinyelu's already got double-figure rebounds in this game.
Well, Boogie Fland when he got his hair cut earlier this year, put up 23 on Tennessee in an absolute beatdown of the Volunteers in this building. And that's when he really broke out.
Acuff scoops it up and in.
Boy, Acuff off those double high screens up top. Man, he is so compact and quick.
Xavier Lee beats everybody down the floor, and Lee's into double figures.
Got it knocked away from him, but still didn't give up on the play.
Incredible balance tonight for the Gators. Trevin Brazil lines up a three. Rebound Houck. Condon looking for his roommate in Houck as he was cutting through the paint. Couldn't find him. Now kicks it out to Flan. Right back into Chinyelu. One-on-one with Pringle. Tip to Brazil. Pringle draws a foul. Was kind of out of control there, but there was contact, and it goes his way.
Boy, a really nice job to corral Darius Acuff. Chinyelu came up. Condon just didn't have the position to draw that charge. But just getting the ball out of the hands of Acuff was job one. I mean, that's part of the game plan for Florida, is make him give it up and make the others do something to beat us, not Darius Acuff Jr.
Second on Condon. Pringle with his third SEC school. Alabama, South Carolina, now Arkansas. How about that comeback for the Tide earlier tonight? Tennessee led almost the entire game. And some big plays late by Philon and others. And Alabama went into Knoxville, won by 2.
Alabama showed incredible resiliency. The Tide led that game for 22 seconds, but it was the right 22 seconds.
Texas picked up a nice win over Texas A&M. Couple of missed free throws, and it only gets louder. Away from the ball, if it's Pringle, it's his fourth.
And it is.
Yeah, it is.
I think Nick Pringle is asking, in this physical game, that's a foul. Really?
Looked like he was saying that the Florida Chinyelu, you can see what he's complaining about, that the right arm of Chinyelu came up. I think that was after the initial whistle and foul call, but you can understand why Pringle was unhappy with that, and they might look at this, Jay. The players are being told to go to their benches.
On Arkansas. The Arkansas coach is making an appeal for a flagrant foul.
John Calipari appealing to see if a flagrant one should be called on Ruben Chinyelu.
Just that initial position. Like, what's Pringle supposed to do there? First of all, Pringle didn't foul anyone. That's just a bad call. Now, whether this is going to be a flagrant, it probably should be. It's right around the head, and it looked like more than inadvertent contact because of almost like a grab toward the end of it. But I can't see where Pringle fouled at all there. And if the whistle blew, I mean, this is a distinction without a difference. It wouldn't be a flagrant. It would be a dead ball contact technical.
Right. Good point by you. Chuck Jones on his way over to us. Joe Lindsay will alert the crowd.
Thank you.
So Chuck Jones giving us the information.
It's still a foul on Pringle,
right,
but it'll be Pringle get 2 shots, and then Arkansas will get the ball on the dead ball contact technical.
Right. So because they didn't happen at exactly the same time against Pringle's foul still stands, and then, as you said, the dead ball contact technical. Todd Golden getting an explanation here on why Chinyelu was assessed the dead ball contact technical foul, and Todd Golden, as you can see, doesn't like it.
honestly, like, I understand the reaction. I don't even know why they have to explain it. Just make the call and let's go.
After review, there will be a foul on 23 red. However, there will be a flagrant 1 foul assessed to number 9 on Florida. Number 23 red.
So they're saying flagrant 1 as if the two happened almost simultaneously before the whistle blew.
Which they didn't,
right.
But it doesn't matter. It's the same result.
The only difference is flagrant 1, Pringle has to shoot the free throws. Dead ball contact technical, they could choose anybody.
But it's pretty much impossible for those to have happened at the same time. They blew the whistle. The ball was dead before that should have been a dead ball contact technical.
Pringle misses them both, and he's now 0 for 4 from the line in this game. And remember, he picked up a foul. That's his 4th. He's going to the bench. Malik Ewan is in.
They just teed up Todd Golden. They teed them both up.
We are told both coaches got teed up.
I don't know where the Cal's upset about the flagrant versus dead ball contact technical.
It's getting a little heated here in Gainesville right now in a 23-point game, but no love lost right now between these two teams. Chris Budden, what do you know?
Yeah, the jawing between the two coaches started during the replay process, and Todd had said, I'm not talking to you. They kept jawing and then went back at it again, and then that led to both of them getting teed up.
Chris, thank you. Malik Ewan tips it in, 59-38.
Boy, when the coaches start yelling at each other, you know you got a game.
Yep. Condon thinking about it. Shot the 3 reasonably well last year. He has really struggled with the 3 ball this year, but still is having, in every other respect, a tremendous season for the Gators.
Well, Ruben Chinyulu just ducked in Billy Richmond III, and that's a mismatch size-wise, and picked up the foul on Richmond.
Arkansas is small right now.
And Florida remains big.
Yep. Lee. Nice find. Condon had it taken away by Richmond.
Boy, Richmond plays so hard. He's just everywhere.
Offensive foul. Malik Thomas and Joe Lindsay immediately signaling that they're going to have a look at this to see if it should be upgraded.
It was just his off arm. That left arm got right up near the head of Boogie Fland, and it was an immediate whistle. And that looks inadvertent, but in this kind of type of game, who knows, after they've been whistling the coaches and all that.
So this was not Todd Golden asking for that to get looked at. This was Joe Lindsay blowing the whistle, calling the foul, and himself immediately saying, I want to get a look at it to see if it should be upgraded.
And certainly there's a heightened sense of awareness, I would believe, on the part of the officials, given the chippiness in the game, to make sure that this doesn't go any further.
So both coaches get a free timeout while the officials are at the monitor.
You guys getting a workout. Getting a workout.
After review, the call on the floor has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul. Number 0 White's going to shoot 2 shots, and it'll be Florida ball.
So a flagrant on Thomas and a couple of free throws for Fland. And as you said, given how the tempers are flaring, maybe the officials want to do anything they can to try to cut this off right now.
It seems that way. I mean, that didn't look like anything much to me, let alone a flagrant. But you know, if you can stop things from escalating, that's helpful.
The SEC Women's Basketball Tournament begins Wednesday in Greenville, South Carolina, and the SEC Network will have all first and second round games as well as the late quarterfinal games. First round coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with the SEC Now crew. It is all Florida. Chinyalu, the handoff to Hauk. Gets by Ewan and somehow gets it to go. That'll count. It was going in anyways, but it's a goaltending call to make it a 25-point game.
All that was set up to get Thomas Hauk to a right-hand drive, and he didn't have the angle, but kept with it to turn the corner closer to the basket.
Boy, these guys play as a unit, don't they? Richmond, no. How many possessions tonight have you seen from the Gators where you said, man, they didn't really run good stuff or get a good look on that possession?
Or didn't rebound. They rebound every time down.
And out of bounds, Florida ball. It was knocked away, but the Arkansas player had a foot on the line. No reset of the shot clock, 20 seconds. Now a steal by Thomas. Nice look ahead. Richmond will slam it. His first points of the second half. He's got 16 in the game.
Arkansas did a nice job denying Boogie Flan, the inbounder, the opportunity to take a handoff from Chinyalu, and he turned it over.
Chinyalu looking for some space, trying to get a shot off. And another foul going against Arkansas, and Chinyalu will head.
As soon as Alex Condon saw it, he said, "That's way too much Vegemite, mate." So it was not pleasant.
Is that your first Vegemite experience?
Yes.
Is that your last Vegemite experience?
That is my last. That is my last. And how about this? Like, Thomas Hauk has invited Alex Condon to go to his home in Pennsylvania, but Condon has not returned the favor to take Hauk to Australia.
Well, then he's not being a best mate.
Yeah, I think Condon knows what the capital of the United States is.
Yes. Another double-double for Ruben Chinyalu, by the way, his 17th of the season, and there's 15 and a half minutes to go. Acuff, no.
Well, you're driving into a brick wall every time.
You can just see he is bothered by the size up front of the Gators. And you know what? He's not alone. Now he just dipped a shoulder into Condon. He ran into him pretty good at getting back on D. This is a chippy game right now, and the officials, and they definitely are trying to do this. They want to keep this from boiling over. And Carlin Hartman, one of the associate head coaches for the Gators, he saw it. There's some frustration, and you can understand why for this Arkansas team, but there was some pretty heavy contact. Todd Golden is pointing, they're going to go to the monitor. I don't even know if Acuff knows it's him that they're looking at, but Acuff was running down the floor and initiated the contact way away from the ball into the shoulder of Condon.
Appeal has been made by the Florida coach on an unobserved flagrant foul.
These officials have had a busy night in this game.
Well, they've done a good job keeping order. And that's where those technicals, not only on the coaches, came from, but that flagrant on, I think it was Boogie Flan, came from when he took that shot from Malik Thomas.
So watch them going down the floor, and watch Acuff there at the top of your screen. The contact there into the ribs or shoulder, I couldn't exactly see, of Condon. Certainly not a basketball play. Did the level of physicality mean that it should be called? You heard Joe Lindsay use the phrase an unobserved play. They might throw a flagrant one at Acuff here.
In this game they might, just to make sure they keep order. But in most games I don't think they would.
After review, it's an unsuccessful appeal by Florida. They will be charged a timeout.
So they will be charged a timeout because that was unsuccessful. They are not putting anything here on Darius Acuff, and the choice was nothing or flagrant one.
Well, but Chuck Jones has told me they were looking at a possible flagrant on Malik Ewan.
Oh.
He said it was number 12, but it didn't rise to that level. So they looked like they had multiple. So I'm not sure exactly what Florida asked for, or whether there was just a mistake in the number and reporting it to me.
Not sure either. The one I saw live was Acuff. I didn't see Ewan, so maybe there was something else on him. We don't know, but an unsuccessful appeal, and Florida loses a timeout.
The officials have logged an extra 3 miles just running over to us to tell us about the flagrant foul.
Yep. And there's still 15 minutes to go. It is one-sided on the scoreboard. Florida by 27. Richmond no. Fland the rebound. Into Condon, and another foul. Florida doing an outstanding job taking advantage of size mismatches.
Well, Acuff had to pick up Alex Condon. He just rolled him down into the post. Nothing to do but foul. And take a look here at number 12, Ewan. Just a push in the back. That's nothing. I'm not sure that's what they were looking at. It might have just been misreported to us on the number, because I think you're right, Dan. I think it was more Darius Acuff.
Condon misses the front end, and Houck over the back. Just the third team foul on the Gators. The fourth team foul, excuse me, here on the Gators in the second half. Arkansas is already over the limit.
Now this is a time for Arkansas. I mean, they're down 27. Just show poise and run your offense. There's a lot more going on this season than just this game. What they don't want to do is lose their poise down the stretch in this thing.
Houck back out to Klavjar. Nice look, and their best shooter buries a three.
Overhelped by DJ Wagner. That left Klavjar wide open. And talk about an unselfish team. Like, how could have taken that shot? Nobody would have blinked.
And then a challenge at the rim. Acuff going strong to the rim, and he draws a foul. I think they got Micah hand-locked it.
That's the right-hand drive, and Wagner just overhelps from the backside, and that left Klavjar wide open for that step-in three.
Klavjar's now into double figures. There are 5 Gators in double figures already, and 2 more who could easily get there. A 50% three-point shooter during this 8-game winning streak. Now they're getting on Darius Acuff Jr. They're feeling pretty good here in Gainesville with a 30-point lead. Let them have their fun. He is not overrated. He is not having his best night, but he is one of the best players in the country.
I never understood the overrated chant. I mean, you're just kind of taken away from what your team is doing. Like, Florida's done an excellent job against a very good Arkansas offense and an outstanding player in Darius Acuff Jr.
Projected as the 8th pick of the NBA draft by ESPN.com's Jeremy Wu. Boy, Houck does a nice job handling, even against guards. Smaller guys who are reaching and poking, but he doesn't turn it over much. Ooh. And now Boogie Fland just really got in front of Billy Richmond III, immediately helped him up, and Fland is called for the foul. His third.
Yeah, he put his body in front of him, and I think the wraparound was to keep him from hitting the deck hard more so than just wrapping him up. He could have made he makes a good case for that being a flagrant, but whoa.
Richmond the follow. He's got 18.
And his motor just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the score is. He's going to keep playing.
But he's added the scoring element to the motor. He's on the verge of scoring 20 for the 5th consecutive game. Klavjar with a Brazil on him. Gets the 3 off over him and hits again.
Got the mismatch, and instead of going by him, just that little step back. And Klavjar has been seeing a big basket for 8 or 9 games now.
Thomas with a baseline drive and a chance for three.
Urban Klavčar from Slovenia. Just a little crossover, step back, and absolutely drills it. He averages 10 points a game, but he's 90% from the free throw line and 40% from three on the season.
He averaged 3 points per game, as you can see, last year. Now they had Clayton and Martin and Richard and Aberdeen, and as you said, the team started with a perimeter and got great help from the inside guys, but a Klavčar with a bigger role and has stepped into it beautifully here this year. Poked away. Klavčar's got it. In and out.
Another terrific rebound by Billy Richmond.
Chinyalu on Acuff in transition. Trying to stay in front of him, cannot do it.
Boy, how about that shot? And Chinyalu moves his feet really well to be able to contest that, but went into his chest and finished with the left hand. And Acuff's is limping getting down the floor.
Lee with the left hand, and again, a point you made in the first half. He does a great job getting rid of it early, getting it high off the glass before it can be blocked.
And he got a great screen from Ruben Chinyalu.
A dozen for Lee. Richmond thought about the three. Hands it off to Ewan, can't reverse it.
Boy, great job by Chinyalu defensively to stop the drive and then get back to Ewan.
Lee, the kick into the corner. Isaiah Brown, who had some really good minutes in the first half for Todd Golden, draws a foul. And there's a timeout on the floor, Jay, as Florida continues to pile up the points here against Arkansas.
Well, Xavier Lee, he can handle it, he can pass it, and a terrific playmaker. And making that play with the left hand, never touching it with his right, getting it to the rim quickly before the shot blocker can get it.
Already the top 2 seed. And given what may or may not happen in the next 2-3 weeks, Jay, I mean, Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn. But if somebody were to falter, it sure seems like the Gators still have a shot at a 1 seed.
I think they do. I think if Florida's able to win the SEC regular season title and then wins the tournament in Nashville, they will be a #1 seed. I really believe that. With the schedule Florida has played and the way the Gators have played in the second half of this season. And it's not like the teams they lost to in November and December were slouches. They were all top 5 teams. You know, Arizona, UConn, they had a shot to win it late at Duke.
Right. Let's get more from Chris.
I had an interesting conversation with Todd Golden the other week about what is the feeling like after you win a national championship, especially at his age, there is this bar that you've always wanted to reach and then you reach it. He said it's great, but then you wake up the next morning and you have coaches that leave and you have players that leave, and it ends up almost being a very hollow feeling that no one else can understand the shoes that you're in, because then you got to rebuild it and do it all over again. He said the promising thing is that I look at this group and I see the DNA that we had a year ago and the promise of what it means for this season and hopefully being able to repeat.
Chris, thank you. And some of the faces have changed, but we spent a lot of time around this team last year. We spent a lot of time around this program this year. The DNA, culture, whatever word you want to use, it still seems very poor possession. It was ruled originally Florida ball, but as you will get a look here, you can see it is clearly off of Xavier Lee. So it'll be Arkansas ball. They are now out of challenges.
What a difference, Dan, in this game from the three-point line. Florida 8 of 14. Arkansas 1 of 9. Florida's done a great job of running Arkansas off the three-point line and making them drive into the size of Florida's defense. You know, it's one thing, and Florida's had a great game plan, but it's one thing to have a great game plan, but it's another thing for the players to execute it in real time. And Florida's done a great job of executing the game plan their coaches gave them.
Billy Richmond, another basket. He's now reached the 20-point plateau for the 5th consecutive game. Klavčar created a little space with the shoulder, couldn't hit the turnaround, and Ewan with a rebound in traffic. Nice look. Acuff into Wagner, but it won't go.
That's been the kind of day it's been for Arkansas. Great job by DJ Wagner running the floor. Just that layup from behind his head just rolled right out.
Land the floater.
Another great screen by Ruben Chinyelu, and Nick Pringle in drop coverage, and Flan took advantage of it.
The Gators have reached or exceeded 90 points in each of their last 5 games against ranked opponents. They're on their way to number 6 as Acuff bangs down a 3.
Acuff that time got off the ball and set a little screen and slipped out of it to the 3-point line.
And he is starting to get his. He's got 15, but boy, has he had to work hard here tonight.
And maybe getting him off the ball will allow him some space to move without it to get some openings.
Condon no, and a foul on the Gators. Looks like Chinyelu. Coming up next on ESPN, it's out west, Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Again, the final time they will match up as conference rivals within the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga moving to the newly configured Pac-12 next year. That game is going to tip at 10:40.
One of the great rivalries in college basketball, and the Duke Carolina of the West Coast Conference. Boy, both Randy Bennett and Mark Few have been at each other's throats for close to 30 years.
Yet have a tremendous amount of respect for one another. Pringle cannot make a free throw tonight. He's 0 for 5. And it's physical between Pringle and Condon. Flan. Condon with a head fake off the glass and good.
Well, it looked like Condon got away with a walk when he caught it, but kept his balance to get that right-hander off the glass.
He is the 6th Gator to reach double figures. Ewan with a chance for 3.
Boy, beautiful job by Darius Acuff Jr. to negotiate that ball screen out top, and then when help came over, to find Ewan with a beautiful pass.
Assist number 6 for Darius Acuff Jr.
A heck of a pass by Ewan. Didn't have his hands ready at first, but still caught it and finished.
The Florida State transfer, 34 points in his last 2 games coming into this one. Man, Arkansas now 6 for 16 from the line.
Chinyelu, 15 rebounds. He's had 3 20-rebound games. I mean, he's just a machine.
And 2 of those 3 in conference play. Flan. There's another one for Chinyelu. There's one for Condon. Number 2 in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage, the Florida Gators, and eventually Ewan commits a foul, his 2nd.
Yeah, Florida is averaging about 16 offensive rebounds per game and about 16 second chance points per game. And that's a big reason that they score over 43 points in the paint, which leads the Southeastern Conference and is 4th in the nation. The only major conference team ahead of them is Arizona there. Gonzaga is one of the others.
Remember, Florida and Arizona met in the season opener for both programs way back on November the 3rd. Arizona beat them 93-87. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that those two will meet again with the stakes much higher.
If they meet again, it'll be in Indianapolis, because both are playing like number 1 seeds.
Ewan with the left, the tip, and he keeps working hard.
He's got an excellent second jump as well. Just a tremendous nose for the ball, especially on offensive rebounding. Malik Ewan.
Hauk around Brazil. It'll go. And Hauk with a chance for 3.
Boy, Thomas Hauk, when he's able to get to that right hand, and so much of what Florida does for him is set up for him to be a right-hand driver. He can really get to the rim. Got hit on the arm. Will get the and one. He'd probably rather have a shark, but this is pretty good second place.
Malik Thomas coming back in for the Razorbacks. The 17th double-double of the season for Chinyelu, 1 shy of Bob Smythe's program record set 50 years ago.
Well, when you're ahead of Al Horford in any category,
yeah,
you've done an amazing job. And Ruben Chinyelu, he puts on his hard hat every single game. You know, Dan, going back to Thomas Houck and catching the shark. He's caught 2 sharks, he was telling me. One of the sharks he caught was with Alex Condon. And in order to get the hook out from the shore as far as they need to get it, Houck has to take a kayak. Can you imagine a 6'11" guy in a kayak? That's a big kayak.
That's a big shark.
That's the one he caught with his family.
With his dad, yeah, and his brother.
I think he said it was, yeah, well, it says right there, 470.2 pounds. He rounds up. He said it was 500.
Everybody who fishes rounds up.
True.
And they're giving it to Acuff again.
Well, Acuff is doing things that haven't been done in the Southeastern Conference for a long time. If his numbers hold and he winds up leading the SEC in both scoring and assists, he'll be the first since Pete Maravich to do it.
Crazy.
It's remarkable.
He's also leading the SEC in assist to turnover ratio. It's not like he's playing out of control and turning the ball over a lot.
And anytime we mention Pete Maravich, we are duty bound to say he didn't play with the 3-point shot.
An average, what, 44 points per game?
Something like that.
Houck driving again and draws another foul. A timeout on the floor. It has been all Gators for most of the night with a Guys, thank you. We'll get you to that one here on ESPN as soon as we can. This one has had a large number of challenges and appeals and fouls, and that's why still 7:58 to go here. It has been all Florida. John Calipari's team came in here hot, having won 5 out of 6, and the only one they lost was double overtime to Alabama, 117-115. When between injuries and guys fouling out, basically Calipari ran out of players who ever see the floor. Otherwise, they would have won that one as well. But even though they were playing well coming in, Florida has taken the fight to them from the get-go here tonight.
Yeah, Darius Acuff in that Alabama game, as you know, had 49 points. And the number of 40-point games by this amazing freshman group this year has been remarkable.
He had 49 points, played all 50 minutes of that game. And as we alluded to briefly, I think in the first half, he's not practicing a whole lot. He's got an ankle injury. And sometimes he sits out practice, has a boot on. Sometimes he just does a little here and there, but never wants to come out of a game. Coach Cal told us yesterday, anytime he tries to take him out, he gets angry at him. This guy wants to play no matter what.
I don't think Cal tries too hard to take him out. Why would you? That's one of the ways you win close to 900 games, and John Calipari a couple wins away from 900 on-court wins.
2 more for Houck. Great cut by Thomas. Nice find by Richmond.
Just a dribble at cut. And Thomas just cut right past Urban Klobuchar. You're thinking more about a dribble handoff than a back cut.
Klobuchar to Handlogden. Now Houck. Back into the post to Handlogden. 7 on the shot clock. Klobuchar switches hands, finds Flan. Lays it up and in.
And then Condon screens out Trevin Brazil, their best shot blocker, so he can't get to it. Boy, these big guys are tremendous roadblocks. They are excellent at screening off help defense.
You talk about 5 playing as 1. The Gators are certainly doing that as DJ Wagner rattles home a 3 for the Hogs. That's just the 3rd made 3-pointer tonight for Arkansas. Now it's knocked away. Hogs in transition. Acuff blocked by Houck. And it's off the foot of Handlogden back over to Arkansas.
Take a look at this block here by Houck. Got it just before it hit the backboard. Florida not giving up on any play.
Up 25 with 6:10 to go. Houck knocks it away from Brazil and missed the dunk. Left it short, but Flan knocks it in. And we've got a foul on Arkansas.
It's a flagrant.
It's a flagrant.
Two-hand push by Trevin Brazil. It looked like more frustration than anything. But the officials are not going to let anything get out of hand here. So they're calling this flagrant right out of the gate. Houck just took off from a little bit too far away. And then here you see the two-handed push by Brazil so that Flan couldn't get the easy one. Got it anyway.
So the frustration continues to show itself for Arkansas here tonight.
And you got to give credit, Dan, to the officials for, you know, these are the kind of things that could get out of hand, but the officials haven't allowed it to get out of hand.
So that's a 4-point trip for Boogie Flan, and it's Florida ball. Brazil's now on the bench.
You know, the question now for each of these coaches is how long do you stick with your regulars here? I mean, this one is in the books already, even though there's 6 minutes to go.
I would think both coaches would want this one to end as soon as possible, just to make sure nobody gets injured here tonight. But the Gators continue to inch closer to 100 as Houck's got another basket. And many are standing here at the O-Dome.
So if he makes this as a 7-point trip, is that right?
Yes. Wild.
That's efficient.
You score 7 points per possession, you're going to win your fair share of games. Houck's got 22. Acuff, no. Hand-logged in the rebound.
One thing for Florida, Dan, in this kind of game, everything they do near the basket needs to be off 2 feet. They need to protect themselves. I'm not saying Arkansas is going to do anything, but when things get a little chippy, you just need to be smart.
Condon, no. Hand-logged and follows. And the rebounding dominance continues for the Gators. Wagner has it blocked out of bounds.
Well, they got a foul.
It's on Houck. They're having so much fun. Ruben Chinilu can't help but dance on the bench. Todd Golden yesterday in the course of conversation said 5 and 4 wasn't much fun. Even though some of the losses were very close to very good teams, it took them a while. But if you believe in peaking at the right time, the Gators are doing that.
Well, I think there was still the belief that, and you and I talked to Todd Golden about it, we're right there. You know, if we get this, this, and this, you know, they needed to take care of the ball better and not turn it over like they were and shoot it better from the perimeter.
Land is down.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, you leave the floor and you're putting yourself in some peril.
Malik Ewan, his 4th, as Fland is helped up. And Fland may be cut. Now Chuck Jones, one of the officials, going over to talk to John Calipari. That's a body check there from Ewan. And Fland is heading to the locker room for a little medical attention as Xavier Lee will come back in. And Todd Golden saying he hit him right in the side of the head.
Calipari over the line,
And you can see the blood. So Lee is going to shoot the free throws. How about that? Seven different players in double figures, and Florida has reached 100.
You know, clearly Florida's offense has been efficient and on point, but I've perhaps been more impressed with their defense. I think Florida's defense, their game plan was excellent, but the execution of it, you know, they've been very disciplined to the details, and they've stuck with the tendencies that Arkansas has, and they've taken things away, and they've lived with certain things. But it's been impressive to watch this team really defend throughout the course of this game.
They made life tough on Darius Acuff Jr., who is on the bench right now, and likely, you would think, given the score, will stay there for the rest of the night. No reason to push him any further. Hauk into Condon, and another Arkansas foul. This one's on Wagner, as again the Gators keep exploiting the mismatches down on the block.
Yeah, with that much movement, you're going to be put in a position to switch, and once you get a guard on Condon, he's just going to lock him down in the lane.
Jay, Arkansas has committed 16 fouls in the second half.
Well, that's been an issue for Arkansas, especially of late. You know, the last 5 games, they're putting their opponent on the line an average of 25 times per game. But their offense has been so good, they've been winning.
1 of 2 for Condon. We're a couple minutes away, I would think, from the Rowdy Reptiles chanting for Olivier Ryu, wanting to get the 7'9" sophomore into the game. Ewan can't get it over Hanlogden. Sealy finds Thomas, who banks it home.
Well, Thomas is such a talented player. This hasn't been an easy night for him, but he's shooting 41% from 3 on the season. And coming into the game, he hit 64 threes on the year.
Klabschar. Still plenty of time. They run so much of the offense through their bigs. Condon, as you noted earlier, a great passer. And he is fouled again.
Yeah, Sealy got him.
So he'll be at the line for 2. It has been all Gators here tonight, and Thomas Hauk, as he often does, has led the way for Florida. He's got a team high 22, and to a man, they are all loving it here at the Odo. He's on the verge of clinching at least a share of the SEC regular season title, and they would be the 1 seed going into the SEC tournament. They would win all tiebreakers. They would have to wait another few days before they could clinch it outright. Their next game is Tuesday night at home to Mississippi State, and then they finish in Lexington in their last regular season game before the SEC tournament begins the following week. Okay. 102 points now for Florida. Their season high 104 against North Florida way back on November the 6th.
Boy, and this is Florida's 6th straight win against a ranked team. That's the 3rd longest. It's now the 2nd longest streak in Division I history. They were tied with Duke, their 2001 team that had Shane Battier and Carlos Boozer and Jay Williams. This Florida team has been doing some special things in the second half of this season. And I think any observer who's been watching this game can see this team is a legit contender, not only for a #1 seed, but for a national championship. And if the guards continue to shoot the ball as well as they have been over the last 8 games or so, there's not a team out there that Florida can't beat. Not one.
We want Ollie is what the fans are saying. They're talking about Olivier Ryu. He's heard this chant before. Ruben Chinulu is leading the cheers. He is trying to coax his coach into making some changes. Thomas Houck gets a big ovation as he comes out. Houck will finish with 22 points and 5 rebounds in this game. Todd Golden has yet to go beyond his top 8 so far in this game.
He's probably about a minute and a half away from emptying the bench completely.
Jarno. Brown keeps it alive and gets his team another possession. The "We Want Ollie" chant continues. 10 on the shot clock. And Condon 2 more. Now it's a season high 105 for the Gators.
Boy, there's just no chance when Condon rolls a smaller player down into the post and locks him down.
Chinulu is saying, "Coach, I don't ask for much. Do me this one favor. Put the big fella in the game." And some changes are coming. And this group, they have played a fair bit this year. The 3 who are about ready to check in. Another rebound for Condon. Unbelievable. And now some of the regulars will come out. Alex Lloyd will come in, C.J. Ingram, and Victor Mikic. Klavjar out, Condon out, Brown out, and more ovations. This is something that not only everybody in the SEC will take notice of, but I think the top teams, the top programs, Jay, around the country, not that they didn't know before tonight that Florida was good and getting better fast, but this is a very loud statement the Gators have made tonight.
And part of the statement, though, Dan, that they're making is to themselves. That when they play with this sort of focus and energy and togetherness, I think Florida, they're believers in themselves now and in their coaching staff that's been with them the whole time, encouraging them through the difficult times in the early part of the season when they were playing a ridiculously tough schedule, and they took a few punches, but they've stuck with it, and they're as good as anybody right now.
And Joe Lunardi has them as a 2 seed at the moment. Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn, his 4 number 1s right now.
Yeah, UConn's the one they're battling it out with right now. You know, Iowa State took a hit with their loss today to Texas Tech, especially at home.
Alex Lloyd, a freshman from Miami, with a layup. UConn got a real push from Seton Hall today, but managed to win.
Well, you know how good Seton Hall is after seeing them in Maui. They're good.
Loose ball out of bounds. Back to the Gators with 1:45 to go. And now Alex Kovacev, a redshirt sophomore from Perth, Australia, into the game. And the Ollie chant is only getting louder.
Well, here he comes.
He just took the warm-up off. And he's making his way to the scorer's table. Mikic can't finish it. And a strong layup at the other end for Isaiah Seeley.
What a beautiful move in transition by Seeley. Boy, the scorer's table, Ryu is on his knees and they can't see over.
It's really something else.
I think he's 5'10" on his knees, maybe 6 feet.
7'9". He's a walk-on, plays sparingly here and there, but is a huge fan favorite in Gainesville. We're into the final minute now. Lloyd's got to get a shot off. And it's still loose. Hand-Logden back to Kovacev. And now Todd Golden calls a timeout. just to get Ryu into the game.
Ryu just hugged Micah Handlogden, and Handlogden looked like a small point guard next to him.
And he's 7'1". Ryu's 9th appearance. 7'9" or 2.36 meters. Well done, team. He has played in 8 games, a total of 12 minutes. He has scored. He's got 5 points this year as Mikic lays it in. 111-74. Wagner a 3. And so the Gators will go into Tuesday night knowing all they have to do is hold serve here at home against Mississippi State to be the outright regular season champs in the SEC. 7 in double figures. And after about the first 5-6 minutes of the game, absolutely dominated the rest of the way. A game that got very chippy at times. Fortunately, the lid never quite blew off. But what an outing, what a game for the Gators. First time in 12 years that they have at least a share of the SEC regular season title. The final score, the Gators 111, Arkansas